So here we have a fertilizer cart from Premier. Now I worked at Premier last summer, so I'm going to show you guys how to set one of these up to apply the amount, the rate that you need. So in the back here we have this little chart. Now, depending on what kind of rate you want, this will vary. Now, what will happen is you'll get a sheet, and it tells you your acres that you're applying for, and they also have the density and the pounds per acre on there. So we have the scale back here. What you want to do is on top we have our material weight per cubic foot. So that would be our density, and this is going to be 55, so it's between 54 and 56, so it's right down the middle here. And then the next thing we look at is our pounds per acre. We want around 200, so we find 200 on here. It's right here, right in between, which works out because if you do the math between 54 and 56, it comes out to about 198, somewhere in there. So we want it right around what this says. And there's a high and low gear, but there is no high gear option for this rate, so go with low gear at 3.5 inches. So therefore you want this gate back here set for 3.5 inches. Now usually they'll do this when you order it, but it's always good just to double check. And this is set for right around 3.5, so it's good to go. Now the other thing you want to make sure that you do is there's a hydraulic lift cylinder that moves this drive chain up and down. That's connected to the tractor with a hydraulic hose. All you have to do is raise and lower that. And then that's what drives this web that feeds out the fertilizer. It's very important that you remember to start the PTO also, because there's been a few people in a few areas just west of here that didn't start their PTO when they spread, and it dumped out all the fertilizer out the back, and they didn't notice until they were done. And you can still drive by there in their alfalfa field, and you can see that they spread, and that there's a line, like 3 lines in each field. And this particular fertilizer spreader has, I think it's a 50-foot wide range, so it's important to take that into consideration as you're spreading. So you got to make sure that when you're transporting that it's hooked up. It's not right now because we hooked it up to the tractor. It's not as important to have it hooked up as long as you have it hooked up to the hydraulic cylinder. When I was working up there at Premier last year, a farmer had been adjusting the chain that hooks that up, and they hooked it up. Well, where the chain had hooked up to this wheel was in contact with the actual wheel itself, and what happened was that as they dumped the weight on the wagon, this became more, it extruded more, and it started to come in contact with this. And this is not hard to turn at all. If I turn this, and we look back here, I can move the web with my hand. So it's just very important that you lock that up, and you always check it before you move it. So now Travis is ready to go start spreading this down at his lower farm. I'm not going to be around to get footage of it because I got a prom that I have to go take pictures of, so that's how you set up a 50-foot spreader, and I hope you learned something from it. So thanks for watching, guys. Opie dopey.
They're not in here.
Opie. I don't know.
They're on the house.
Opie.
Alright guys, Travis and Brittany here, plus dog. And we're currently pulling that fertilizer spreader we got from the co-op. Heading out to the grass bottom. We're going to spread some fertilizer on it. Try to get a better yield off it when we go to make it. Alright everybody. I know Ryan isn't filming this, but so I don't know what to give you for a description, but this is what that spinner looks like when it's running. And granted, when I'm running it, I can't really drive and be back here watching as it's spreading at the same time, so the rest you're going to get is just going to be a cab view. For those of you that are wondering, we just got done planting corn about an hour ago. Had the co-op bring the spreader down while I was still planting. Second to last kernel dropped out of the corn planter. We blasted home and dropped the planter off right away, so I get down here and get this spread. They're saying rain for the next, well, off and on for at least the next week or so. Of course, you can believe all you want of the weatherman. It's Wisconsin, you know, so if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. Somebody got tired of riding along. There it's at, or he just gave up. She's trying to get away from her. I know how he feels. I'm just kidding. Yeah, this is the same bottom that my brother did some video of us round bailing on last year. I don't know, we get out in the open here, there's quite a bit of ground here, a lot more than what you'd really think.